It is said that with great power comes great responsibility. We, one and all, are enthralled with the idea of power in one way or another. We put on our suits and ties, dresses and heels, and best fragrances, and push our way up the ladders of what we see life to be. Whether it be at work or school, we go about our day-to-day staring into tall buildings of our mind through the cotton-formed all-seeing eye. We keep our minds, hearts, and eye on the prize being the very top of that tall building. We entertain the thoughts and ideas of what we're going to be able to afford in the near or distant future. We study self-help manuals hoping to find tricks to get there faster and with less effort. Yet we seem to still fall off the ladder. No matter how many times we fall, we get right back up and push our way back up the ladder. That means very little to our own actual survival as a species. Despite such great power and responsibility, we find ourselves in a sea of distraction and confusion on a daily and even nightly basis. We never seem to stop to think about the little simplistic purities that we want and beg for in our cries for transformation. Some have never even taken the time to see how big the skies are that they want so blue, or how deep the seas are that they want so clean. They cry for change simply to hear themselves cry for something, never considering how big of a role in the transformation they play. Rather, people are stepping in each other's heads to win still pieces of art for appreciation for various met goals. Small tokens that will end up filling our landfills. They're trampling over one another to win a corner office with a view of the city they are helping to destroy and endless skies of pollution that they are helping to pollute. They are working harder to achieve the fancy car that is speeding their way into a depleted future that they are helping to deplete. All the while they are pushing others off the ladder, only to hold the honors of depleting it alone. Don't mistake my intentions. I recognize the companies who have programs and clubs who have social and economical programs to help sweet Mother Earth. Kudos to them. But the question still lies, are they doing their part in full? Are they honestly bringing every voice in the corporation into consideration? Are they seeking out earth-friendly ways to minimize waste? Are they studying earth-friendly materials to use in their products? Why is it that we have so many companies making the exact same product with minimal effort and minimal differences in the products that they offer? Building after building covering every corner, and humans holding signs begging for help out of winter's bitter cold. Why are we competing with one another rather than working together to produce minimal waste, one product, less buildings, more housing, and a healthier earth to live on? The answer lies within the hearts and the minds of the distracted. There is a highly delusional and praised haiku within the order of business in the world today. When once were the sounds of cooing birds and trickling of creeks that lulled our minds to ease our troubled hearts, we have become accustomed to the sounds of technology, cars, and jet planes, heels on cements, fax machines, and robotic arms. We're chasing our tails to get nothing. Nothing but earthly disorder. We strive and reach for nothing but what we can destroy next. Our focuses are in the wrong place, people. We are teaching our children to focus on ideas of survival of the fittest. But aren't we all fit to survive? We're teaching our children that they are so much better than everyone else. Didn't God create us equal? We are teaching our children to praise things in their lives that make no sense, that have nothing to do with their survival. What's going to happen when they need those survival skills? What's going to happen when you do? We are all a part of a balance, and we're throwing that balance off. Our next generation, and the generation after that, and the generation after that, and the generation after that, and our future relies on us to teach them ethics and morals and standards. For all the children that are being shot in the streets by other children. For all the children that are being left with unknowing molesters as babysitters while mom and dad go climb the ladder of success. What are you succeeding in? Disruption? Disorder? Rather than teaching our children to live and let live, we are teaching our children to kill or be killed, and sometimes in a literal sense. Sometimes those words are not coming out of our mouths, but our children watch. And they learn. For every child who grows into a college student and hangs themselves in their dorm because they are so scared to disappoint their parents because they're not succeeding in the field that their dad wants them to succeed in, that their parents want them to excel in. They are taking their own lives rather than disappoint their parents, rather than disappoint you. For every child who prances around their junior high and even younger, showing off their body parts and thinking that it is proper in the way of the world to constantly have somebody in their lives rather than relying on themselves. Because they are watching you, and they are watching your self-conscious disorders, and they're learning from them. For all the children who are not brought up with the idea of charity, but the idea of selfishness and greed. They grow up to teach the next generation all of the traits that you are teaching them. They are growing to allow their children to be babysat by unknown child molesters. They are allowing their children, your grandchildren, to run the streets and be gunned down by some other disorder. The question is, what do you actually want your children to know? What do you actually fear for in the sake of your children? Rather than getting the girls together and going on a girls' night out, why not take your children and go on a family night out? Go talk to them and teach them the actual reality of life. Teach them the standards and the morals that every child needs, just in case one day Jesus himself comes and knocks on their door. We are failing as parents, and that right there is the reason why society is failing. Society is nothing more than people that were raised by people. If you don't like the way society is, and you have complaints about the way society is, and you don't like people running around, tipping over cars, breaking into buildings, stealing things, and shooting your children, then start teaching your children a better way to be. It has to end here. It has to end with you. No one else is going to teach your children shit.